Stock of the Day is brought to you by IG, Australia's #1 CFD provider. Trade over 17,000 markets with extended trading hours on key US shares and competitive spreads, all on an award-winning platform. Get started at IG.com.
And our stock of the day is Oracle. The shares soaring 36% in its biggest one-day percentage gain in more than 30 years overnight after the tech company pointed to a demand surge from AI firms for its cloud services. Share price appreciation seeing Oracle's co-founder Larry Ellison overtake Elon Musk as the world's richest person. Now, OpenAI has signed a contract to purchase $300 billion in computing power from Oracle over about 5 years, making one of the biggest cloud contracts ever signed. The company has struck deals with Amazon, Alphabet, and Microsoft to let their cloud customers run Oracle cloud infrastructure alongside native services. Revenue from the partnerships rose more than 16-fold in the first quarter. Mark Gardner, let's start with you. Interesting, I was just looking at a headline there in the Fin Review today saying, Oracle, peak bubble or new boom?
I don't think it's peak bubble because there's revenue and profits behind it. There's a lot of stocks that the AFR push all the time that are peak bubble that don't make any money. But this is not just for Oracle, but this is big news in terms of like validating the data center rollout and the amount of money that's been, because we've all been predicting this Oracle result. I mean, God, it was, I covered this when it came out. We've got it in a leveraged hyperscaling structured investment, and I'm pretty damn happy given it's up 35% and we've got quite a decent amount of leverage in it, paired with Google. But it really does validate this hyperscaling of the data centers, the rapid expansion of data centers, big time. And look, Larry Ellison's, he's been the richest man in the world a number of times before. And I don't think this is peak. They're set to announce, I think revenue jumped 1,570% or something.
In their cloud business.
Yeah. And they're set to sign over $500 billion in contracts. So they're $300 billion of the way there, but there's another $200 billion coming. And look, I really don't. These are signed long-term agreements, and he was obviously smart enough to go in there and just really hammer those big, the guys that he knew that were going to spend. He's been at the top of the game for in tech for 25, 30, 40 years, I suppose. And yeah, it was just for the thematic, it was just a real proving moment of an outstanding result. Look, I'm not sure. I think that Oracle's justified. Would I buy it today? I mean, we bought it previously. Would I buy it today? I'd probably have to go and really dig deep into, forward. But I think for me, the broader data center expansion thing that definitely cements it as a very high conviction buy for the coming few years. And I'm going to put a buy on this. I think it's going to continue to do very well because they've got that first mover's advantage. But I think it makes it very hopeful for. I think the move in those stocks. I mean, look at that chart. I mean, I normally steer away from buying something that's done that, but I think the thematic's just going to continue. But there'll be other areas where you can go. Fringe areas where you can go. Sensors we've talked about on Semi on the show a couple of times before. For power, I think it's going to be great for copper, water investment. There's going to be a whole range of things that go through. So this is fairly significant in terms of the thematic for sure. And I think it will continue. They've done an extraordinary. I mean, they kind of were the forgotten player in the space, and they've really kicked along. So I'm going to call it a buy. But more broadly, I think it does very much cement the future couple of next few years, particularly in that infrastructure build out.
Yeah, it was very interesting actually. I was reading about them in April when the share price was about half what it is now, and the commentary was actually interesting. It was coming from a reliable source that I get on who's buying, what's happening with NVIDIA, and who's buying, and there was a lot going to Oracle, and they were talking about maybe Oracle's going to be able to burst out. Now, Oracle for a long time has been a pretty low margin business relatively. So this is, and they didn't get talked about very much. They were a bit like they were left over from before. And the other thing they were doing too is they've started to the reselling NVIDIA. So they're an NVIDIA partner into industry. So they're packaging up various combinations of whatever and selling it to business. And that we haven't even seen that yet. That's because all the NVIDIA Blackwell chips and stuff have all gone to hyperscalers and so on. Now we're getting, okay, well, what about all the businesses who want to buy them? So Oracle's very well positioned. And the article I read was actually arguing that the question was, it should improve Oracle's margins, on that stuff and what they were getting. It's quite competitive in the industrial side of the business. So, and I looked at it, oh, maybe I should buy some. Anyway, I didn't. So I wish I did now. But I think they've managed to shift the whole view of the company now. So what this has done, because they've come up with such a big contract wins and so on, they're now going to be in the hyperscaler category. Where they weren't before. They were sort of one of those other guys that were sort of there, but old company.
All right, but would you buy it now though?
Oh no, it'll come back a bit on. It's not going to just keep going from here. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back 10 or 15%. But I think yes, and with hindsight, I wish I'd bought it.
Of course, don't we all? Yeah. All right, well there you go. It is a buy from Mark Gardner. Mark Moran saying definitely buy if it's going to pull back there. So that is our stock. But yeah. All right, that is our stock of the day, Oracle.
The stock of the day was brought to you by IG. Trade over 12,000 shares and ETFs, including major tech giants with extended hours on an award-winning platform. Get started at IG.com.